Let's get Anna in. Anna, the lady of the
Hi.
moment.
Hey,
Hey, Anna.
Anna.
How are we?
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
How we're glad you are. So $10 million Series A, Anna. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Tell
Yeah. Pretty
tell us
crazy.
how.
I was ready, right? I think the big
Mhm.
key is preparedness for the raise, right? Like I had my data room locked and loaded. I wasn't building the data room as I was taking calls. It was already prepared. So I think my first week I took like 40 to 50 meetings.
Holy hell.
That's
Yeah.
good going. 10
Yeah.
a day.
I ran a full process. Yeah.
That's what's always impressed me by you. The amount of work you put in. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't think you bring something to life like this without total brute force. So
Yeah. And you know what was also freaking awesome? I'll let everyone ask other questions in a minute. Your fundraising announcement video was so good. And I mean this in the nicest way
thanks.
possible. You could tell you've done the fundraising in 3 weeks. But that video is
Yeah.
like so like I think there's like a lot of this I don't want to say weird, but I personally find it a bit strange. Like, what are these big hype videos of fundraisers and like a bit extreme? Yours was just raw, like creator style, walking through New York. We've built it, people doing construction in the background. You have a mic that you're holding, obviously one of these little ones that you can order on Amazon. And like it was just very
Totally.
authentic and real. And I loved it.
Yeah, I think 10 million aside, like we're still bootstrapping this thing, right? And the blooper reel is even better. Me almost getting hit by a car like 6 times because I was just so focused on delivering the message that I was completely not aware of my surroundings, and I was just walking through the streets of New York. So it was a high risk video, but
I
totally
don't think
worth
your
it.
investors would have been too happy if that happened.
No, I agree with you. So it was
Hey,
fun.
Martin, Patrick, Dustin, you want to pose any questions for Anna?
And tell us what Trade is doing.
Yeah, Trade is a construction back office operating system for specialty contractors. So we really own the end-to-end process from field to finance, right? So from employee onboarding, scheduling and dispatch, field tracking, all the way through payroll and job costing.
Very cool. And you're like who? Anna, can you clarify like who you're targeting as a customer? Like what's the size of the company makeup?
Yeah, so we really target field teams. So the specialty trades, the plumbers, carpenters, painters, electricians, concrete shops, demolition, anyone that has, we love man in a van, 25 people shops, all the way up to field teams of 1,500. But this is, really curated to the trades, hence the name.
Great.
What inspired you to start this? Because like the back office for specialty contractors is not something that a lot of people find, let's just use the word exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if the biggest problems are exciting, but they're real. And so for me, I had a vantage point into how many people were disrupted by these inefficiencies, right? I was able to see firsthand experience, not only in my dad's back office, but in so many of like my extended family members and my construction uncles, right? That their back office was slowing them down and actually really hurting their bottom line. If they're not able to see a true view of the field and really understand what their operating costs are every single day, how are they going to make the right business decisions? So for me, it was kind of personal. It was a little bit of a vendetta of like, how can we make this better for a lot of people that I directly care about? And then, as I saw how big this market was, that was exciting for me as a founder, right? It's like, I knew I was going to make a direct impact for a handful of people. And that was enough for me to get started. And then the deeper I've gotten, I've said this before, like I'm more convicted now on Trade than I was when I started because, I have back office admins calling me saying like, I just took my first vacation in 10 years. Thank you. Right? Like that's real world impact. People not being able to leave their on-prem servers, right? And being beholden to weekly pay cycles, right? As soon as you run payroll and process the reports, you're basically running payroll again for the next week because it takes so many days, right? On Trade, you're running payroll in 27 minutes or less.
Mm-hmm. So what's the plan now? Where this 10 million will take you?
Across the country. I think we've been really, really concentrated in the Northeast, and this capital will allow us to expand nationally. So that's number one. Double down on the right strategic hires at this stage, knowing what we want to build, and then continuing to advance the product, go deeper on these workflows. Especially in the age of AI, vertical workflows are key. Being deeply, deeply embedded in someone's day-to-day is what's going to create that moat around these systems. And so just building every button and every page and feature with as much intention as possible.
Anna, how did you fall upon like the features that you provide? Like just looking at your website here, it's quite specific in terms of I'll just list it off here: HR, people management, scheduling, dispatch, labor and field tracking, payroll. Like it also seems quite I don't know if the right term is limited, but what we see in this space of people targeting these companies is like they can be all in one suite. So they offer what you offer, but also everything else that goes into a construction project they provide, that this software provider will provide. Why have you kind of kept it quite quite narrow, maybe?
Yeah, it's very intentional, right? It comes from the insight that in order to run perfect payroll in construction, you need to know who's working, where they're working, and what they're working on. So the modules actually round out who's on staff, right? Like who's hired and brought on board, where are they dispatched that day, and when they're on site, what activities are they doing? Ultimately, all of that information in the field rolls back into payroll, right? In construction, someone can make multiple rates in a day, depending if it's a union project, if there's a prevailing wage requirement, if it's a school building, like everything changes, right? Whether someone's operating one type of machine or a different type of machine, there can be surcharges applied to their rates. And so if there is disconnect field to payroll's going to be wrong. And so our platform may seem limited, but it's like hyper focused on labor accounting.
And you might or might not know this, but we have a little bit of a cross episode running gag here between being probabilistic versus being deterministic, being almost all the time right versus being all the time right, but perhaps less efficient or less creative. In payroll, are you being forgiven if you're being wrong once?
No.
90%?
It
Depends on which side.
like if we are week over week, if we are like 99.7% accurate, and we track this, by the way, this is a key metric for us. We call it payroll health. We're off by 0.03%. We failed that week. Like there is literally no room for error in payroll, which is why like agentic payroll just isn't a thing yet, right? And won't be for a very long time. You have to have complete control over that. And if a dollar or a cent is off, and then that wage is reported to the government on a prevailing wage project, the fines and penalties are in the tens of thousands, right? It could be conceived as wage theft. And so like trade is so much more than just payroll. It is like the truest form of compliance. And so like there is just literally no room for error. We have companies that are submitting 50 to 100 certified payroll reports a week.
Wow.
It's insane. The volume is insane. And they're reporting it to multiple different agencies. There's like LCP Tracker, EMARS, Elations, eComply. They keep adding new agencies, right? And these contractors are like falling below the surface trying to keep up simply on compliance.
So you don't have we've been kind of joking today on this episode before you join Anna about Mac Minis and how many the teams have these days, and whether you're running agents to manage payroll. My guess is that based on what you said, you haven't quite got there yet.
No, there's no agents running payroll, but there are definitely robots that are cleaning tickets while we sleep and making optimizations to the platform. There's no days off anymore, right? In the age of AI, we can move so much faster and so much smarter, and yeah, trades online around the clock at this point. We're 27 people today. We have a ton of open roles across every single department. We have 9 open roles to be specific, but we've seen pretty incredible growth over the last 6 months. So hiring to support it.
Yeah. Nice. But Martin, you can ask something?
Yes, Anna. So this reduced weekly processing time of payroll from 14 hours to 27 minutes or so. How do people take that? Does it mean they need to expect a lot of changes within the organization in terms of change processes, or how? Maybe you can explain how is it possible that from 14 hours to you can collapse this time to 7 minutes?
Well, when you think about it, before trade, back office teams are receiving stacks of pen and paper sign-in sheets that they then need to translate into Excel. In Excel, they're applying all of the special rates that I was mentioning before, right? And then they're moving that into antiquated payroll systems that inevitably crash, right? And so that's a 12 to 14 hour process, 1 to 2 full days. So there's a lot of relief on the time savings back. It creates more space for back office teams to focus on revenue generating activities instead. And so I think in general, there's always fear of change. I won't deny that. I think change management is a big part of what we have to overcome, both in our sales cycle and in the implementation process. But when people feel it and feel the new flow, they get very excited. Yeah.
I have one last one, unless anyone else wants to go before me. Maybe you're not the right person to ask. I don't know, Anna. But is Y Combinator good for construction tech companies?
Oh,
You're live.
I'm live. So YC for us was invaluable in fundraising, right? I give all the credit in the world. That they were my first check-in after 150 pitches. And so I'm not sure trade would be here if not for YC. So all the credit there. Construction tech is a different beast. And from a product and a distribution standpoint, it's different than, AI for law firms, right? And so I think you need to come to the table with a bit of founder market fit to maximize that program. I'm forever grateful for YC. And I think from a fundraising and a network perspective, it's unmatched. Construction tech, though, kind of it needs a layer on top.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Yeah, makes complete sense. Okay, Anna, thank you so much. Congratulations once again. We'll be seeing more of you.
Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it. Great to see you
All
guys.
right, take care. Yeah.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Anna.
Bye.